Hi, my name's Ant, and this channel is called Speakerstack Music, and it's dedicated to providing Ableton production tutorials where we run through the various features of Ableton to give you tips in terms of how to use Ableton and produce your own songs using Ableton, how to write and structure your songs in Ableton. And after doing the tutorials, I post my own finished demos of the songs I've been working on so people can hear how I've used Ableton to create my own ideas and how those are coming out. So in today's video, we are going to look at a third-party plugin called Cthulhu by Xfer. And Cthulhu's two main functions are as a chord generator and as an arpeggiator. So it's a third-party plugin available from their website. You can download it. I believe it costs about £50 to download. You need to be opening up an Ableton Live scene and then creating a MIDI track and then dropping Cthulhu into a MIDI track. So you can see I've got Cthulhu open here, and immediately it can look a little bit daunting, but honestly, believe you me, it's actually quite straightforward to use, and I'm going to kind of demystify it hopefully in this video. But yes, you want to create a MIDI channel, which I have open here, and then drop Cthulhu into that, which you can do obviously from your plugins section. We've got Cthulhu on this section here, so again you just click and drag that in, and then it comes out in the instrument window down here, and obviously you can then click on it, open it out, and have a look and see what's inside Cthulhu. So it is as I say, a chord generator and an arpeggiator. And those are the two sections, and the chord generator section is at the bottom and the arpeggiator section is at the top, and you can use these two buttons here to close down each section. So if I just want to use the chord section and remove the arpeggiator section from the top, then I just click on the button here and I'm left with the chord section. Similarly, if I just want the arpeggiator section and not the chord section, I can click and remove the chord section from the bottom and I'm just left with the arpeggiator section. But for the purposes of this video, we're going to be having a look at the chord section. So I'm going to take away the arpeggiator section from the top, and that will just leave me with this section here, which emulates a virtual keyboard. Along the bottom, you've got some notes here highlighted in green, and I'll come to that in a second. You have then got a window section across the top here, and the main way of selecting the different chords that you want Cthulhu to play is by going onto this section here, clicking on this and selecting from a number of different chord presets. Because what the chord function in Cthulhu essentially enables you to do is create chords from single notes. So with one finger you can press a note on your keyboard and Cthulhu will, using the chord preset that you have selected, then create a fantastic kind of bit different kind of chord out of that and play that back to you. So you're going to want to play around with these chord presets, and you can actually download additional presets from the Xfer website. Some are free and I think some cost. I've just been playing around with it to begin with using the chord presets that it came with, and I've selected a minor chord sequence here, A minor to C major, as you can see here, and that is there in the preset section. So this is really straightforward. When you are in the MIDI track here, as you would do with any other instrument, you're going to want to draw some notes in. So I've gone in to the instrument channel that Cthulhu is dropped into, and I've drawn in some notes. I've got a D, a C, an F and a G. Single notes that I've drawn in. Obviously you can play those notes in live into a MIDI controller to capture your performance as you're going along. But for the purposes of this video, I just wanted to capture some notes, so I've drawn those in. Now Cthulhu will play back those notes. So if I just deselect the other instruments channels that we have open here for a second, and I'll tell you why I've got those other instrument channels up in a minute. But if you just click on Cthulhu, it should just play back with a kind of a default core sound. And you can see there that as that was playing along, it was creating chords based on the preset that I selected in that top right hand section there. And as the chords were changing, Cthulhu was highlighting the notes it had selected in green. So you can really just play around with the chord presets here, download more presets from the Xfer website, and create some fantastic chords. And you don't need to know musical theory in order to do that. You can just create these chords using the single notes that you've drawn in or played into that specific instrument channel. And obviously that sounds great, but you're probably thinking, well, how do we change the sound on that? Because obviously what we have in that channel is just the kind of core sound that's coming out of Cthulhu. It's not that interesting. So there is a way now of routing Cthulhu into other instruments that you have set up in your Ableton session. And I'm going to show you how to do that. Again, dead easy. And the really cool thing about this is that you can create multiple instrument channels that Cthulhu is feeding into. So if I just close Cthulhu down for a second, and just close down the other windows, and then show you the mixer view, you'll see that we've got a number of different instrument channels here. I've actually dropped in some audio here as a guitar, and we've got a couple of drum beats here. We've got a kick and a hi-hat, open hi-hat going on in those two channels. But what I've done is I've dropped in two further MIDI channels. So channels 4 and 5 were both set up as MIDI channels, and in the first one I've dropped in Ableton's analog instrument and then had a play around with that analog instrument just to create a cool little synth sound. I've added some effects, I've put a bit of EQ on it and some chorus and reverb. And then in the instrument channel 5, again in the MIDI channel, I've dropped in the Serum plugin with a cool preset synthesizer sound on that channel. So what you can actually then have is Cthulhu sourcing into channels 4 and 5. So in order to do that, obviously you go into the 4th channel, create your instrument using Ableton's analog, or drop in one of the many Ableton presets that you have in the analog instrument preset section. You know, there's loads to go with there. You can drop one of those in, or you can create your own. And you don't need to create any notes on this channel, because the notes that you're playing through the instrument channel number 4 have already been drawn into instrument channel number 3, into the channel that has Cthulhu in it. So it's almost it doesn't need you to provide any further MIDI information. All the MIDI information is set up in channel 3. So in the analog track 4, you want to go down to the MIDI from section in the drop down menu and select Cthulhu. And then in the post effects section, you want to select Cthulhu again. So in both of those sections, and then you want to arm the track by pressing record. And then if you want to add a second instrument, another layer of melody to the chords, you can again do the same with instrument channel number 5. Again, selecting the MIDI from to Cthulhu. And then again Cthulhu out on the drop down section below, and then arm the track, and that then plays Cthulhu through these two channels. And obviously I'm just going to mute it so that you get a sense of the sound. And then I'm going to open these tracks out, and you'll be able to hear the difference. And that's essentially it. It's as easy as that. So you can create some fantastic sounds. It will do the hard work with the chords for you. And then you can create the kind of instrument sounds that you want in separate channels, and then route the Cthulhu plugin through those separate channels. And obviously it doesn't stop there. You can add more MIDI instrument channels in if you want as well. I did try and feed it through into an audio channel. It didn't work. Obviously, it's because it's audio information rather than MIDI information. If I find a way of doing that, I will record a video on it and post it, because that would be absolutely awesome. To create chords out of single guitar notes. But again, I think it's because it's audio information rather than MIDI information. But obviously you can go back into Cthulhu, go back into the actual plugin, change the chord preset. So we could go for D minor to F major, gives you a whole new sound. Something like this. So loads of fun, loads to play around with. Hope you found that useful and of value. If it has been of value, please like the video. It goes a long way to getting these videos out to other people. And consider subscribing to the channel. That'd be absolutely fantastic. In the next video, which I will post a link to at the end of this video, I will show you how to use the second function in Cthulhu, which is the arpeggiator. So all that remains is to say thank you for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next video.